Thank you, Michael. I told you. Jared, Michael, it's so exciting to be in the presence of such a guarantee of foundation of literacy and the power of the word. Those of you who know me well enough, I never usually know what I'm going to read, and I get triggered to do certain things. I'll work backwards. Michael triggered this. This is from Dog is my co-pilot. This was written October 25th, 2015. My son was 46 when I was born. As I was 30, birthing with my father. And though as strange as it may seem, indifferent, one might ask, why bother? But the light, from which this journey does unfold, of the perfection we are to hold, from well-known stories yet untold, this light. Forever fresh, things happen as they happen. Perfection is as perfection does. We are here to be because we have to. As with endless truth that always was. We have no other choice but to continue within this constant searching for our birth, as fruit that bears the seeds for future harvests, our roots so firmly planted in the earth. Thank you for triggering that. And Jared triggered with that hair. What an amazing poem, Jared. Congratulations, amazing poem. This is a sestina from In the Streets Between Wormholes. With the purity of love and unencumbered heart I give to you, to soar upon the endless seas of time, with countless stars like garlands in your hair, and the sweetest scent of eternal spring as you float weightlessly on solar winds. How soft and fresh are these winds that hold us safe as one within our love. How sweet this dew that bathes this virgin spring, this kiss upon your soul I give to you, as my need to caress your fragrant hair grows stronger as we both are lost in time. How moves this sea as does time, riding the waves of astral dust and winds, tossing us entwined as does our hair, enraptured as we coincide our love. For you are more myself as I am you, this bursting forth of life that cries in spring. How does my heart shout this spring, forever now and in a distant time, for everything I am for you, that carried me so far wrapped in these winds. This siren song is sung about our love, so subtle as is light shine on your hair. Heaven's stardust in your hair, as does a meadow's morning mist in spring. Then with the sun a rainbow's arch of love, and such a moment we will freeze in time, to carry with us suspended in these winds. For all there is to see, there is in you. We and I. us, and I, and you, our skin, our eyes, our touch, our smell, our hair, this constant rolling ocean and these winds, ever-expanding bounty we call spring, this continuum that blesses us through time, this gift of life we share to be in love. You are rapture that is spring, a fine hair suspending our world in time, with winds that gently sway us within this love. That's the hair trigger from the piece. Thank you. And then and your piece about this Godhead figure, self-anointed, from God, from on high, tossing pennies as if the manna from heaven. Notre Dame is burning. The inner reaches of mind within the outer reaches of multidimensional consciousness and the choices we make. No one is allowed to touch in spite of all the yearning, needing love so very much. And Notre Dame is burning. Suicide, the latest fad, complete society's gone mad, too caught up to know how sad. Things to first get really bad. And science is no longer in. Theology our origin, and our youth on heroin. The sky has truly fallen. And Nero plays with no concerns. The art of the deal and what it earns. How much is enough and all it turns. And Notre Dame is burning. The arbiter of truth, the news sold out to make a buck. Selling advertising space, they just don't give up. And we all know the lies they sell, but nothing can be done. They know their power, untouchable, and hurt us for the fun. Drowning from political thugs, no conversation safe from bugs. Loneliness, the heart, it tugs. And Notre Dame is burning. Where is the moral outrage and the taking to the streets? It's just bootlicking selfiedom and one-upsmanship through tweets. This orange menace turning red, impending conflagration, this selfish decadence unleashed will undermine each nation. Too dumb to know the reason why, too arrogant for learning, and more each day we die. And Notre Dame is burning. And shouts of "Let it burn!" by those so well protected, and all the rest of us in turn are not at all respected. And all the children put in cages, and all the workers stagnant wages, and no one listens to the sages of the coming war, and how it rages. Dispose this rank and file who are sycophantly vested, while hinterland screams, "Seek hell!" And our Constitution tested. And indifference disconcerting, through apathy perverting, while a dictatorship is flirting with shouts of "Let it burn." Oh, Notre Dame, my Notre Dame, our Notre Dame, sweet Notre Dame. The forest, tree-sized timbers, that held the copper roof is now all burned to embers, and the world remains aloof. It's from Notre Dame is burning. Okay. Back to this.
I think you edit this tape length, so I'm just going to say that it's seriously depressing.
Well, then this is a perfect entrance. Well, it's funny how that came about. I was composing. That's not funny. That's a constant. And I'm broken out of my meditative processes, as we all know they are. And it was my son it was a text from my son. He goes, "My God, Notre Dame is burning. I'm all freaked out." And what? And I go to the browser, and there's Notre Dame burning. And I almost started to cry immediately, weeping. And the primordial ruminations. And then that was written right within the next day. And interestingly enough, as pointed out by Newburgh Poet Laureate Mona Toscano, I had set it to music on Mother's Day. Unbeknownst to me, but that seemed appropriate. Anyway, here we go. Fear. Very powerful, focused, knowing every crease betwixt and between, twilight and darkness, every secret, hope, relief, the precious pursuit of ephemeral oneness, all turned material, thus something that can be taken away. We were rock and roll. The pill, the streets, something to take, something to believe in. We were lovers, innocent to carnal need, lusting always. Yes, indeed. If we never, ever, never, how deeply we loved. As we prepare for another journey around the sun, I cannot help but feel my life has just begun. I'm not alone and embrace us all as one, and will not stop until this vision is done. Much more than shading us beneath your leaves, this gift against the sun's broiling freeze. Much more than roots as long as you stand tall. Much more than vibrant colors in the fall. Much more than your support throughout the day as I lean against your flesh and dream away. Much more than how we both are fixed in time, so wrapped within this awe, so still, sublime. Much more than watching stars slip across the sky. We ancient mariners, you and I. The distance of once upon a time, filtering the totality of sensory awareness, robust color dimming into monochrome, fading into an ever-shrinking displacement, immediacy once full and lush rendered transparent, evaporating immense multidimensional chapters into spectral nano-recollection. Once upon a time, there was this kingdom with crystal blue skies where it rained only after sundown, and promise was unbound. Once upon a time, we were innocent. The world was full of wonder, and whatever thread of darkness seemed to shrink from this light. It was as if spring had arrived, would never leave, and we, so in awe. Everything was possible. A walk on the moon. Once upon a time, there was an imminent threat, thermonuclear war. Once upon a time, we came a baby's breath away from extermination through the machismo of military confrontation. Once upon a time, we had a prince who unraveled the complexities of fear, found a peaceful solution, promoting that these dark forces be dismantled, never to threaten us again. Once upon a time. When I was 15, ache and massive psychic trauma engulfed us, fresh, refusing to abate, innocence shattered, the death of Camelot, our young prince gone. His princess's facial expression within her blood-splattered pink dress, surreal disbelief shared by all who prided this kingdom of light and promise, asking not what our country could do for us, but what we could do for our country. Now, smothering, smoldering in demonic darkness, this interminable winter of our discontent. How often are we blessed with promise? An inspiring synergy to be more than ourselves, embodying the ebullience of light. As spring approached, a wind began to blow from across a vast ocean, a fresh wind, new and surprising, a most welcomed, needed wind. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, 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 yeah. I don't kiss and tell. It's my secret. The indelible stickiness of your essence for me to wear, mine. For as long as I remember this moment suspended, specific, your gift. No matter how we coincide, it is I who live within this sacred place, as you with me, as we escape our bonds. To hear your breath is one with mine so close, sublime. I hold you, such a world to not let go. And as I love you, love me as you wish to be, you and I, and all you'll see, this moment, forever ours. Remembering my father as a toddler climbing into his bed, having me step into his hands while I held onto the headboard as he pressed me up into the air, balancing as an acrobat, prodded to stand up straight and let go. How I giggled, how he smiled, my trusted catcher for me to fly. How I welcomed the repeated ritual of our mornings. Finally growing too large for my father to lift, and my response, "You're getting old." My old man of 33 or 4, his facial expression etched in my memory for me to repeat with my son so many decades later, to remember so many lifetimes ago, still fresh in innocence, the laughter embracing us as I stood so high above the world. This wind freshening, stiffening with every blow, a clash of temperatures colliding, swirling. Hear it cry, pressing, bending all and everything, moaning, lashing out in and through a window of what's to come. Hope? The audacity of hope? Wishing for things to get better? I don't believe in hope. To hope is to relegate yourself only active in wishing, seeing yourself a victim in need, yearning to be helped in order to be more than less, not able to evolve without additional intervention, having to desire for something to come, believing it will get better beyond your present state of being, beyond your self-perceived insignificance. Hope being the only active thing in motion, as opposed to having unshakable resolve to make it so. Whatever you can imagine to better yourself, and doing it through relentless pursuit, fulfilling the vision, and not settling or giving in until you have achieved your goal. As Mama used to say, wishing don't make it so. Yes, one must visualize first in order to bring it to fruition. But in a world where anything and everything is possible, it is obviously about the choices we make. As Mama also used to say when confronted by obstacles. Oh yeah? Watch me. How relaxed you've become outing your secrets. How seemingly indifferent. Memories still lingering for a different past, burned by insidious elements. So, we imagine a different scenario. What it would be like now if human potential had interceded. The outcome's still the same. This moment sacred for the next 7 generations. Weightless, moving at the speed of light, untethered by gravity, aware of total being, ageless within the static perfection of timelessness, all-seeing, all-knowing, deep primordial memory oscillating within and through solar dust, cosmic singularity, total noise and absolute silence, the purity of light within the purity of darkness, always, never ending, never beginning, a continuum, infinite light from infinite darkness, consciousness, complete, perfect. I can trust you. That is more important than poetry. Sleeping like spoons, as opposed to nettles rubbing against silk, pulling, blemishing perfection. And yet, be free. The thread lifted from the smoothness brings unique character. No need to fixate. The perfection is the story continually unfolding. Out of the inky blackness, steel rails sing their siren song. Quietude shattered, trumpeted warnings. the oncoming, snaking, umbilical cord freight train rattling through the night. Strength, the purity of heart, soul, and fortitude, a pyramid to stand the test of time. And I, aware of how much I have been alone, distracted from this hurt through the constant pursuit of light, a body of proofs I have created, documenting the glory of beauty around me. Within the noise, I have stilled myself to hear. And yet it seems I'm the only one. For I swim in waters amongst the deaf and blind, indifferent to share this vision I have for so long refined with a quicksilver dexterity, transcribing the path I travel, unfathomable, constant, pure. In this momentary pause, am I so self-indulgent, aware of my wound, my aching heart, so in need to share? For certainly I have chosen this path, this priesthood, dedicated, this moment suspended in time, now and forever. Convinced the opening motive of Handel's B-flat major harp concerto was inspired by a male cardinal's love song, I run it through my mind within the silence before his mate returns of mutual affection. Such a lovely duet, accompanied by the back and forth, oscillating ostinato sawing of crickets. A murder of crows, laughter explodes in the distance. My focus returns. Female cardinal cuts across my sight line to join her companion. Tufted red-headed woodpecker, high atop tree, trumpets triumphantly. His mate returns the fondness and canon, and I, quietly in awe, Olivia at my side, excitedly barking with every pass of flight. Have you ever noticed when it rains, birdsong disappears? The hiss and pitter-patter suspends all revelry, as if the only music is the grass greening, bathing in the glory of original ancient waters, falling and then rising, cyclically as they have since time began. The ferns smile, kneeling in prayer, under the shroud of a gray sky, and all is just a hiss, the quenching of thirst, as the trees stretch themselves heaven-bound. That's a few selections from Industry Between Wormholes. My name is Hayden Wayne. This is the Howland Cultural Center, May 14, 2021. I want to give a shout out to the miraculous Florence Northcutt, Craig Wolf, Tom Devier, and Anna Lieberman for facilitating this edifice in splendiferous form and the allowance of continuing of the power of the word, let alone art and music and soul, under the great graces of General Howland and his family, who gave this edifice to the community for nothing, with a caveat: if it ever falls short of community service, it reverts back to the family. So I applaud those who are handling this glorious hall. I want to specifically thank the magnificent readers who we've had before us.